How are you?
I'm good. Last week I was listening to you talk about abortion.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how to say this politically correct, but, we talk about not expecting a woman to carry a child even after she was raped or because of a product of incest. I have a real hard time expecting a woman to do that because I, as a woman, only carried one child, but that was the most physically hard thing I have ever done in my life, and I wanted that baby.
Yeah.
And to ask a woman to do that after such a horrific crime has been done to her, I just have a hard time with that, and I wanted you to expand more on what you were saying about that.
Sure. Yeah, and look, you're making a point that I can't argue. And I wouldn't even try to argue. I'm married to a woman who's had 9 children, and we've adopted 3 children. And so we know a little bit about kids, but I'm not a woman, and I don't know what it takes to give birth. But let me say this, that you don't want to, and this was the point that I was making earlier in another broadcast, you don't want to compound the pain of rape or incest with murder of an innocent preborn child. That's all I'm saying. In other words, if you start with the presupposition that that child has its own distinct genetic code, that is really a child, so that life begins at conception, and that a woman conceives not just a body, but a body-soul unity. If you start with that, and you can demonstrate that that is not a metaphysical contention, it is plain old experimental evidence in an age of scientific enlightenment. So if you establish that point, then I went on to say 2 wrongs don't make a right. The very thing that makes rape evil also makes abortion evil. In both cases, and listen to this carefully, in both cases, an innocent human being is brutally dehumanized. So rape is a brutal dehumanization. It is an evil. It is inconceivable, but so is murder. That's the point I'm making. And to take the life of the innocent human being that is born out of that evil doesn't obviate the pain. It compounds the pain. And it compounds the evil, and that's the point. But look, there's another point I'd like to make about that, Sharon.
Okay.
And this is being clinical, and I'm asking you to forgive me for being clinical, because that's all I can be at this point. I'm trying to answer it in a clinical way, and this is not just a clinical question. There's a lot of emotion involved, as you pointed out in the prologue to your question, and I'm granting that. And I'm also granting that I can't fully comprehend it. Okay? But here's the important thing to note, and that is the incidence of pregnancy as a result of rape is rare. Very, very rare. So lobbying for abortion on the basis of rape and incest is like lobbying for the removal of red lights, because you might have to run a red light in order to rescue someone who's about to commit suicide. So even if we did have legislation restricting abortion for all reasons other than rape and incest, we would still save the vast majority of the almost 2 million preborn babies who die every single year just in the United States, not talking about the world.